Shalom and welcome to Finding Neshamah. I am Neshamah. I will do a formal introductory video one day soon, hopefully. But I wanted to share some ideas of decorating for Hanukkah or Feast of Dedication. I hope you guys are having a great time planning for it. It's definitely been a journey for my family to transition. Maybe about 15 years ago from Christmas, we started letting go of Christmas and we had our own family tradition. And so we had what we call FHT, which was a way for all of us to celebrate some family time, even though we all didn't celebrate the same holidays at the end of the year. Everybody doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa, everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas, everybody doesn't celebrate Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. And so we have what we call FHT. And so it's a little different. It's got a different spin on it. And so it's a lot of fun. But now we still do FHT, but now we celebrate, my household celebrates Hanukkah and Feast of Dedication, as well as some other family members who celebrated with us. So it's been an interesting transition. What I've noticed is when it comes to decorations and things like that, it's not a lot of videos about decorating for Hanukkah or Feast of Dedication, and a lot of it kind of looks about the same. So I hope looking at my slideshow gives you some ideas of some things that you may want to do, and that could help you and your family to enjoy the feast. And we know that it is a minor feast. It was kept after the victories of the Maccabees over the Greeks, and so we celebrate this. So last year our theme, I try to do a theme each year, and the theme last year was about celebrating our warriors, our men and women of courage. If you haven't had a chance to go read the book of Judith, you should. It's very interesting, a very fun read. I had to say fun read, but it's very interesting to read. And you have men and women who rose to the challenge when they were called upon to do so by the Most High. So we wanted to celebrate that on last year. You see, the slideshow is full of friends and family that came last year. We celebrated the first day together, and we had a nice little dinner. And so we had a good time, a really good time with some of the people that we assemble with here. And actually, what's funny is, like, I like to plan stuff like this most of the time. I kind of got slacked off of it for the past couple of years, but we got so busy trying to get finished, getting everything together, that by the time it was time for dinner, I still wasn't completely dressed or ready. And so everybody ended up helping out. And so it was like really a feast, because different ones that were bringing different things had to do a little prep. And you'll see that later on in one of the slides. But so let me just backtrack a little bit. So everything you're seeing right here did not cost an arm and a leg. And so if you look carefully, a lot of these things were like super, super, super cheap and or free or remixed from things that I already had around the house, and some things I may have borrowed from my sister. And so don't pay attention to the fact that what I'm saying is not going on my slideshow. So before I go back to the things that you've seen in the videos, and it'll come back around to some things. But yes, it's so random. It's so random because I am not a tech person yet. I will be a tech person. And I have to give shout outs to my brother-in-law in particular, who helped me learn how to use this one program. However, I changed the display settings or something on here, and so now I have to figure things out again. And so there's no rhyme or reason to my slides, so I apologize. One day I'm going to get it just right. So if you notice on my Finding Neshamah page, my videos that I started out, I wanted to get away from this mindset of being a perfectionist from the jump, if that makes sense. So you see this slide, that's clearly not perfect. Not the food. The food was good, but the way that it's set up. And I'm leaving it like that on purpose. I am. Perfection is a growth process. And sometimes we could be just starting out and we feel like everything has to be like 100% pristine, when that's not how it works. No great athlete, no great actor, actress, singer, teacher, more, nobody starts out at 100. Everybody has to grow. And so the beautiful thing about my channel is I want you guys to grow with me. I want you to see my process, you see my beginning. One day I'm going to post a video of my little makeshift studio that I have in my house. And you know what? I'm thankful because I could be stuck with trying to hold in every gift that the Most High has given me based on wanting everything to be perfect. And so I again, we spend a lifetime looking for the perfect equipment, the perfect house, the perfect mate, the perfect children, that we don't do anything. We just sit there in our thoughts of this false sense of perfection. Perfection comes when we put things into practice. And so somebody said, there's a scripture that talks about faith without works is dead. And that faith without works is dead, meaning that I can believe that I'm going to be the greatest, but if I don't ever just put some practice into it, that's not going to happen. So now that I've had my little spiel, so now you know who I am. A little bit of how I am, I'll put it that way. I'm sharing this video because a lot of the things on this video, my decorations were free. Those little mannequins on the wall, I painted them. I painted the gold, the one that's bronzy. I painted him, and I got those for free from a store that was closing down. A lot of my plates and decor, they were just a few cents on a dollar. I'm like literally like those celebrate plates were some plates I think that some store was selling after maybe New Year or the Gregorian New Year. Little things that just said, let's celebrate or celebrate. And I think I paid maybe like a quarter a dime for them after the fact. And so I put that away. I'm like, maybe I can use it later. And I have a big family. And so sometimes we have family get-togethers and stuff. And I'm like, shoot, if nothing else, nobody cares. It's just a plate. And so, push come to shove, we can use that. And so a lot of things, the little glasses you see around, most of them cost less, $1 or less. I was helping to plan a wedding. And things kind of changed, and so I ended up not doing the decorations for the wedding, but I was starting to get different mix match glasses from thrift stores and other little there are like these dig stores that are real popular now, and so I got things from there, probably like $1 or less over time, and I put them up, and I paid for them. I put them up, and so I bring them out when I want the display to look nice. Those little so-called holiday lights or whatever, those are just lights. And so I use those to highlight different spots that I want to bring some light to. I use a lot of candles, but most of the things you see on my picture probably cost about $5 or less total. My sister is the queen of finding deals. And so she loves dig stores. I'm not a shopper at all. And so sometimes she'll go and find things for me. Every once in a while, she'll get me to go out with her, and we can find like little things. But I wanted to encourage you guys to think outside of the box. I know that the predominant decorations for Hanukkah are blue and white. I'm sure there's some significance behind it. But I know that there's a wide array of people who celebrate Hanukkah and the Feast of Dedication for different reasons. And so I think that it's a beautiful thing to kind of look at it from a different perspective as far as how we decorate and prepare for it. And so as I continue on this video, I just want to share some of my ideas, and I want to encourage you guys to, look at not just the minor feasts, but the feasts of the Most High. That those feasts are so layered that we could find bukus of ways to get our environment, our homes, wherever we are. Even if you do certain assemblies, if your assembly gets together and does something big, that you can make it look beautiful without, breaking the bank and without taken away from the meaning of these days. So the feast of dedication, or Hanukkah, or Feast of Lights, whichever one you call it, whichever one you are most comfortable calling, is so layered. It's about faith. It's about betrayal. It's about the season. This year, my theme is more of a winter theme, and you'll see that at the end of this presentation. Is I'm doing snowflakes. I mean, we made the snowflakes that hang from the ceiling using fishing wire and cotton balls, and I have a hot glue gun so to keep the cotton from sliding off, and some little plastic snowflakes. I mean, clear plastic snowflakes, and some little twinkle lights, or I think some of them, they call them fairy lights. I know that's not like the technical name. The fairy lights are smaller, but the other ones look almost the same. So they are really pretty, and it makes the house feel wintry. And I am purposely showing you guys at the end of this how my unkempt living room, I mean, like I was working and I want to take a picture of the part of the process. And even there's a chair in the middle of the room, because you know what? It's a part of the process. So don't beat yourself up when you start if it doesn't, if it's not instantaneously like you want it. And so I like mixing and matching things. I like remixing things. Man, when I was a little younger, when I was quite a bit younger, actually, I would move furniture all around my house. I would. And so I'm going to encourage you, while you're trying to figure out what you want to do on this last year. I moved the living room furniture I had at the time into the dining room and turned the living room into a dining room. I was able to put 2 of those, basic plastic, I used to call them fellowship tables, because this is what we used to use when we were have little events and things like that. But just those basic tables that you can get from Walmart, Sam's, Costco, and I'm not sponsored by any of them, but just the basic folding table, and you put a tablecloth on it. And so I want you to know that even if you don't have the money for a big tablecloth, go find you a nice sheet. Cut the tag off on the inside and turn it down and cover your table. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. Even if you have a nice clean sheet at home that you like, that's pretty or plain and simple or white, toss it on the table. I want to encourage you to look around. There's something around your house. Sometimes you feel like, I don't have anything. I don't have any money. All I have is $5, $10, $20. I don't have anything. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Remix. Do you have glasses at home? Do you have jars? Use those things to make something new. It's a beautiful, and you just be amazed at how I truly believe the Most High blessed the hands of a lot of mothers, fathers too, but primarily a lot of mothers are into trying to just create the ambiance in the room. And he will bless your hands when he see that you're trying to honor him. It's not for show. It's to help make memories, because all of our feast days have a lot of prescribed things that we have to do. And even the minor ones may have some things. I know Feast of Dedication is mostly like a lot of some traditions that are passed down through a lot of Jewish historians, but it's not like a lot of rules to how to celebrate it. We just know that they did, and they did it for 8 days. And so as you're trying to prepare, you may not feel like you have a lot, but you want to make those memories. You want your children, if you have children, even yourself, to really fully embrace the beauty of the stories of those brave men and women who took a chance, knowing that they could die, being willing to die to serve the Most High. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. And so when you're decorating, keep that in mind. If you have children, keep it in mind, because when you decorate for the feast days and the minor feast, so-called minor feast days, when you decorate for those things, or you get certain scents going in your home, it helps your children to realize that this day is different. This day is different from all the other days. Even from, Shabbat or Sabbath to Sabbath or Shabbat to Shabbat, sometimes you have to change the scent of the house, change the scenery a little bit, because it helps set the day apart. It's not a rule that says you have to do all those things, but these things will help make memories. Help make memories to be concrete in your mind and in your children's mind, that they look forward to keeping these days that we can read about in Scripture. And so that's the big deal. I mean, this is not, I didn't want to mention, Christmas and all those other days that other nations celebrate, but they have actually appropriated, I guess is the correct way to say it, a lot of the heart of the Most High's feast days, the celebratory environment, the music. They have capitalized on something that was good and pure, and they've attached it to something that's desperately wicked when you take off all the covers. And I know that could be offensive to some people, but I encourage you to go back and look at a lot of these little details, to how they decorate, to the things that are brought into your home. There are real traditions and wickedness and other gods that are attached to this stuff. And I used to be a big time. I never really celebrated Christmas like everybody, but I love the decor, which honestly, transitioning from Christmas was a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It was a challenge for a while, and now I feel nothing about that decor stuff. And I went for a while not trying to do anything with the little lights and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to detach from that feeling that I got. It's definitely a spirit that's in the air with what they do in the world. But with what we do, there is a real greater spirit, the spirit of the Most High, which does push us to strive for excellence, but also strive to make things help us to look at his days high above any of those days that were ascribed to other gods, other powers, other elves. And so what we are doing, and why I wanted to post this slideshow, is I want to encourage you don't have to imitate them. The Most High has the power to give you creativity to use what you have on hand. And if you can go get some more, that's cool. But he has the power to bless your desire and to bless the skills that he's given you. As I'm talking, I'm thinking about when they got ready to build the tabernacle and even the temple, that the Most High, when the people were willing to do something to honor him, he increased their gifts, their skills. And even when you look at how even when Solomon dedicated the temple to the Most High, which, Feast of Dedication is about rededicating the temple back to the Most High after the Greeks had come in and just devastated our temple. And so rededicating it back to him, and just going back to Solomon when he first did it, what did the Most High do? It says that his glory or his presence or smoke came into and filled the whole temple. Do you not think that made like a big impact on the people mentally? If you could just imagine being there, smelling all the incense, seeing all the sacrifices, seeing all the sounds and sights that were going on, and then what the Most High did, you would never forget that. What we have to do is forget about what the world is doing. That's not going to last. Okay, it's trickling down quickly, but you have to put in your heart that when I serve the Most High, I want to give him everything, all of me, and I want him to his kavod, his glory, his beauty to be increased in me as I prepare my family or myself to keep these feasts. Even if you're by yourself, do something. Listen, I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips, and then I'm going to log off of here and get busy. Because as you see at the end of the slideshow, I'm not done with my decor. And my mother passed. My mother passed away. She transitioned in October. My father passed in December of last year. So my family, we've lost both the matriarch and patriarch of my side of the family within 7 or 8 months of each other. We lost both of them. And so I'm trying to push through a whole lot, but I'm like, okay, grieve. I give myself time to grieve, but I don't want it to overcome the fact that the Most High has been good. Even with their lives, he was good. Even with them transitioning, he knows what he's doing. So I know my mother would love this. I know she would have loved the decorations we did last year. And she always tried to make memories with us when we were younger. Even with whatever we were celebrating, she wanted to make memories. And it didn't always cost a lot. And in fact, we came from a big family, so it wasn't a lot to be, it wasn't a lot to toss around towards cost anyway. So, hey, it was no big deal like that. But she tried to make memories with us. And so that is a trait that I definitely want to hold to for my children and my children's children's children. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple of ideas, and hopefully you can take them and you can use them. This video is going a little long, I'm sorry, but I hope you're enjoying it. One, I want to encourage you to look around your house. You have something. You have something already there. Remix. Move a pillow from a bedroom to a couch, or from a couch to a chair. Flip it over. Find an old sweater. If you don't use it, you don't need it, or something, and make a cover out make a pillowcase cover of it and change it up. You'll be surprised how small things like that change everything. Go get a jar. Go find you some flowers. Get some wildflowers. Bring them in. Some stores on Fridays, they sell the bouquets of flowers at a lower rate. You just have to get there early to get them. The fresh flowers. Bring some flowers in. Look around, and if you have a chair in one room, bring it into the other room. Move the furniture around. Mix and match things up that normally wouldn't go together, and see how, play with it. Play with different colors and fabrics and things. I'm going to tell you something that I do, as you see on the slide from what we're working on this year. That is a wrapping paper that I covered over some pictures that I have. I do this all the time. I will find contact paper on the pictures from last year and this year. That chevron, that's contact paper. And I use contact paper to cover up the pictures that I had on my wall. And so it's not going to damage the canvas pictures. And I was able to take it off. I've redone those things several times with contact paper. And the last one for this year, since we're doing this winter theme, that's wrapping paper. Like I said, look around and see what you have. Another thing, if you can swap furniture around, sometimes if you have like a little, a nightstand or a little dresser or a little buffet table or something, move it into another room. Swap it around, and make a little display by your front door, or make a display in your living room if you have a dining room, maybe even your bedroom. Even if you have one room, if you're staying in one room, maybe you're staying with somebody else, just swap your bed around and make a little display on your nightstand or your dresser to remind you of the heart of the Feast of Dedication. Get a menorah or get some candles. I'm going to tell you what I found the other day. I found some nice, and believe it or not, Rolex paper clip holder, which I thought, when I saw it, I thought it was like candle holders. But it holds paper clips, and I think it retailed for like $20. And I paid 50 cents for them. And they are rectangular. They are probably about 3 inches tall, 2.5, 3 inches tall. And I'm going to put candles in them. And I'm going to line them up. And so I make my own menorah. So you just have to learn to think outside the box and try some things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, take it down. No loss. Another thing I want to say, that you can always change your curtains. Sometimes you can get really cheap curtains from some of these big box stores. I'm not going to give another shout out for any of them. At least I don't think I will. And even some of these dig stores where they have, where they buy these big pallets of products from Amazon and a lot of big stores, and these people sell them and you dig in the boxes. Well, we found a lot of curtains for $1, 50 cents in those places like that, and maybe 1 or 2 panels. So what's $2 for 2 panels, which, curtains can be very expensive. And so if you have some, swap them around, mix up the colors. Say you have just 2 packs of curtains, 2 pair of curtains, maybe put 2 different patterns together, see what it looks like. Try it out. Tie it off, tie it up, tie it back, and play with it. You'll be surprised how much just changing the curtains will do for a room. And the last thing I was going to say is you can use old fabrics. Do you have old fabric that you're not using? Sometimes you can tie a piece of fabric around a pillow to make it more decorative. You can lay it across the table, make a runner. On the pictures from last year, I made runners out of some fabric that I got. I got it from one of the big box stores, but it was like really, really cheap. And I cut it. I think, in 4 or 5 ways. And I made my own runners on my table. And it was simple. And they were no sew. I didn't sew the runners. I just cut them carefully and put them on the table, and that was it. And the chargers that you saw on the table, those I borrowed from my sister. And I will say that probably the most expensive thing on that table that I could think of right off the bat were the little gold plastic forks and spoons, eating utensils. I think I got those, and I can't remember exactly the price, but you can find them in the store because I thought they were pretty, and I said, okay, I can get this. And so as you can see, everybody ate and everybody was happy. We had a really good time. We played a few games afterwards, and then everybody went home, and we had a great time and made a lot of memories with our children. And the beautiful thing is, I think my younger half, I don't think I mentioned this, we have a big family, so the younger half, most of them, I don't think have ever really celebrated the other people's holiday. Half of my children haven't. The older ones did a little bit, but like I said, it wasn't the same way as a lot of people celebrated. But this has been a journey for them. The ones that had a little bit of an attachment to it, and those that did not, it still kind of takes away where you're not sitting around being jealous of what other people are doing. Who cares what they're doing? We serve a greater power. And so we're going to serve him extravagantly, even with simplicity. And sometimes the simplest offering to him or our service to him is the most extravagant. Remember the widow and her 2 mites? She gave more than all those who had bucket loads of money to put into the treasury or to help the poor. And so she gave more than them because she gave all that she had. And so I encourage you, give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. And so don't let what you feel is a lack keep you from looking around and counting your blessings and looking around to see what do you have in your house that you could change things up with. My sister and I used to decorate a lot for events, and we have literally, and I'm not joking, I'm talking about literally gone out into outside and found pretty weeds. Seriously, pretty weeds, and decorated for a reception. I'm going to say reception or an appreciation for a very dear heart that I truly miss. One of my former ministers a long time ago, and we decorated. He had an old water fountain. We brought in grass. Yes, we decorated with grass, and that place was beautiful. I wish I had a video of that, but that was probably, that was probably over 10 years ago. But the Most High has provided you with whatever you need. If you ask him to help you see what you have and use what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. We're not trying to recreate what other people are doing. We're trying to make this minor feast, but an important feast, our own. We don't have to copy other people. We can use what we have. And so with that, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful feast of dedication, or happy Hanukkah, or happy Feast of Lights, whichever way you word it. I just hope that you enjoy. And like I said, this year we're doing winter theme. In John chapter 10, verse 22, it says that the feast was held in winter. So that's why we're going with winter. And so the focus of this feast is rededicating the temple, the rededicating of the temple, the bravery of those who had to fight to even be in a position to rededicate the temple to the Most High. And so some focus on the miracle of the oil, but it's so much more. Like I said, it's layered. So maybe come up with a list of what you want to do each year that represents different components of this beautiful feast. And I hope you enjoy it with someone you love. And if there are not a lot of people around you, hey, hit me up, and maybe we can just keep each other encouraged. But this is a beautiful thing to be able to embrace the Most High's feast days and the feast days of our ancestors without regret, without remorse, or without needing to pretend to be something that we aren't. And so enjoy this feast. I pray that the Most High bless you and your household. And hey, by all means, like, share, and comment as I hope to get more people to see this video, because it's frustrating to looking for these videos and there's like everything is the same decorations. Yeah, so boring. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well and you take care, and I wish you well. Shalom, shalom.